How's it going, Sha?
I've been awake for about 45 minutes.
Oh, rock on. Okay.
Yeah. Is it great? Um but in that time set up the gear for recording, and I fed the cat,
Right.
and I put rubber bands on all the cabinets so hopefully she won't climb into any of those, and I swept the floor, and I made some tea.
I would call that a win. That's pretty
Yeah,
productive.
actually, after we record, I think I'm going back to bed.
You peaked too early, Sha.
Yeah, that was a full day. That was a full
Yeah.
day.
I like the frames too. You came out with the gold today?
Oh yeah, thank you. They're like a burnished, like shades of gold and copper, very coppery, and a
Okay.
little bit of bronze, and they are kind of glinty. They look glinty. I just,
Yeah.
these they caught my eye, and I was like, Shalewa, you just bought a grip. That's the official amount of glasses. You can't need another pair. You can't need another frame. And then they were like, oh, but it's like, $15 off. And I'm like, well, all right. Cause I guess.
Hey, I ain't mad at it. I've justified way too much in sneakers the last month to shame anybody on
Yeah.
purchases, So I'm with you. You know what I mean? Do it
Hmm.
up. Two grips is perfectly fine,
Yeah,
you
true.
know?
Oh, but no more. No more. I mean, if I keep my eyes are gonna change if this is a new prescription. I'm still like getting used to the prescription. I'm like, more frames, more frames.
So I've always been curious with that. So you go to the doctor, you get your prescription,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go online and order all these glasses, right?
Yes. So they send you a little, all they need is like your prescription numbers, but then they also need a measurement. I forget what they call it, the pupil something or other, but it's, I guess, the measurement of the middle of your eyeball.
Okay.
Where is the middle of your eyeball? And they give you a little, um, you can print it out online, or if you've ordered from them, they send you another one to use. Just a little ruler that you've got to hold up to yourself and look in the
Okay.
mirror and then like pinpoint the middle of your eyes. And that is impossible. So they're like, or maybe recruit a friend or loved one. And I was like, that's a weird way to put it, friend or loved one. But I realized why, because I had my roommate do it, and that's the most intimate I've been with anyone in years, because my eyes are dark brown, but they're not just dark brown, they're damn near black. They're so dark brown. And then you got to look for the black part, and then you got to see where that measurement is with the ruler, and so you got to be like right up on me, and
Yeah.
with the ruler against my head, and then staring into my eyes, which I have to keep open for you to. Oh God, I'd rather have just had sex with my roommate than have him measure my eyeballs again.
Yeah, I feel like that about eye drops actually. Like I can
Oh,
only ask Gabby to do them because I'm scared of like eye drops. So like
okay.
for her to give me eye drops, I need to be laying down. She
Mhm.
has to straddle me over my chest. Like it's fully like a thing. Like my kids laugh at me because like for the most part, I'm viewed as the tough guy in the house,
Right.
except for this. Like they see it, like it's a whole process. I have to lay down. She has to straddle me. And like one arm has to be part of the straddle so that like she knows where my strength is coming from. Like, it's gonna come from the other side. It is what it is. Like she has to
She's
accept
got
that
to read you like you're a bucking bronco.
straight up. It's a thing, yo. And I'm still gonna fight. Like I know it going in. Like I'm gonna try to cooperate, but at some
Mhm.
point my instinct is gonna say, "Yo, get off me." I don't care how long we've been together. You got to get off me now.
So who's
And
keeping your eye open?
she's doing that with her two hands as fast as possible. Um,
Okay.
so
All
that's the
right.
issue. Like she's picking a hand to like do the drop. It doesn't usually
Mhm.
work. So
Right.
usually it's two hands, one on my face, one on
Uh-huh.
my eye, and then she squeezes the bottle with her tooth, and like it
Oh,
drips into like the vicinity of my eyes.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. It's a thing, yo. Like,
Oh my God. Yo.
so
This
I
is a
feel you.
lot. This is a lot. And I'm not big on eye drops, but I got to where I can get, if I just douse the whole socket, drops are bound to get in there. I found this thing that was just like an eye drop. It's supposed to, you actually, this apparatus that you put the drops in and then you
Yeah.
put over your eye. And it's just a shot glass. It's literally a shot glass. And you
Okay.
put the eye drops in the shot glass and then you kind of maneuver it around the eye and then you just tip your head back as if you're taking a shot, but the drops are supposed to get in your eye.
Okay.
It works about as well as using a shot glass to get into a tiny place would work. Which is
Yeah.
to say, I was like, I can't believe I spent $6 on this goddamn shot glass. And
I mean,
now my whole face is just dripping with Visine. None of this is working.
I gotta say, Shot, that's pretty similar to my process. It takes about a shot glass worth of the drops. My
Yeah.
face is covered in whatever the drops are.
That's like a whole bottle. You must burn through it. You must get one eye done per bottle.
Yeah. That is accurate. My prescriptions never last. They're never enough.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's a thing. That's why I haven't done it's been my biggest fear of getting the eye surgery. Because I know like one of the things afterward is like your eyes can get dry. So you got to get drops.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. I use drops now for like eye stress because I'm looking at a lot of screens.
Yeah.
Which I was going to recommend to you, but now that I see how, I don't want to do that to Gabby. So just make sure you limit the number of screens you look at every day so that you don't get strain. You don't have any eye strain because I don't want her to have to climb on top of you like it's a damn rodeo.
Yeah, no. God bless that woman. Shouts to Gabby. Gabby's dope.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how she deals with my nonsense. People think she's like mean or like antisocial when we go out. I just think she's tired. You know?
She is. She's just tired.
She's just recovering.
You're a lot. You're a lot.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that though. I've tried, but yeah, it's not my gift. So yeah, and I've made it. I've been proactive. I definitely like buy like the glasses with like the glare protection and all that. I do that with the computer screens. I overinvest in all those things. And I make sure like not to like watch a lot of TV when I'm not like doing something for work. Like I don't just watch TV frivolously.
What? What do you mean? That's the whole point of television.
Nah, to me, like it's
frivolous. It's not supposed to be watched while you're doing another thing. They work too hard. How are we trying to get shit on television? I don't want someone to be watching my shit and also doing their taxes. I want them to sit down and watch my thing.
Now, like, I want it to be like the agenda. Like, we gonna watch Shalewa shit. We gonna focus the fuck out of this.
Right,
okay?
that's what I want.
What we watching. But like, the second Shalewa shit is done, we turning it off. I don't want to see nothing extra. I don't even want to hear about the next show. Okay, clip that shit. We going back to these books.
Okay, so right? Well, I mean, you can still tire your eyes out by reading as well. I do.
That's fair.
Or I did as a kid. I don't read anymore. Reading's for chumps. But when I was a child. Yeah, I used to read in the dark. You know how it is. You know, when you and this seems wild, but you can read too much as a kid. You can read so much that your parents are like, "What's wrong? Why are you still in the house? Get out of here." Right? My mother was constantly, "You got to get out of here." And I'm like, "But I'm reading." And she's like, "You got to go outside." Please.
The reading got expensive. I'll say that. Like my kids was reading too much. I was like, I can't afford all these books. Okay. Like they're like, we go to the library, don't got the books they want fast enough. because they
Sure.
get them, but like those books go out right away.
Right.
Then
Right.
so like legit, there was a good like 3-year run where between the two of them I was dropping like 200 a month on
Oh,
books.
neat.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
it was a good problem that like I'm glad they were that studious and enjoyed reading. But I was like,
mhm.
yeah, this is fucking crazy. Like this is a lot.
What have you done with those books?
We usually give them to like their younger cousins.
Okay. All
Like
right.
we
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Mhm.
Although like I had this idea, but like Gabby never got on board with it. And I don't even think it's a bad idea. I think it's cool. Like for real.
What was your idea, Gastor?
Sean, I don't like that you instantly think Gabby's right, okay?
No, I don't. I don't.
I have good
I,
ideas sometimes, I
I
swear.
know you do. You do. So, what was the idea? Let's hear.
Nah, I wanted to get a stamp that like said like Almonte read like hashtag Almonte reads. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like just so that like whenever we read a book, we could stamp it and then
Mm-hmm.
we could donate the book. And that way, like if somebody got the book through like one of those like donation things or like those like they got like those little houses that people leave on their
Oh
front
yeah,
yard,
the
the
little
like local library
libraries.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to like have my books slowly get out there. Like, yeah, I gave out these books, I read it. And then if
Mm-hmm.
you got one of those books, you could take a picture, like hashtag it on IG, hashtag Almonte reads, you read it. And now we could talk about the book because I knew you read the book that I read. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you
So I thought it
wanted to
would be like
start like a
it'd
book
be like a
club.
book club unofficially, yeah, through the
Uh-huh.
hashtag. Like any
Right.
book me and my kids read, we could stamp it, say we read it, put it out there, and unofficially like encourage reading by having people know for a fact that anyone that hashtags that they read the book too.
Okay. And what was her concern with it?
Oh, she just said that I wouldn't commit to it. Yeah, she's like, there's no way you're doing that.
Actually, all right. Well, that is a much more personal concern because she knows you better than I do in a way that
Yeah.
I don't. I would just be wary of making everything you do like a thing. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it could just be y'all just read the book
Yeah.
and then you give the book away and now there are more books to like read, but it
Yeah,
would be
we
a
do that.
constant rehashing of someone coming back after 2 years and going, hey, hashtag I read your book, let's talk about it, and you're like, which book was that? You know what I mean? Like just a constant churn and constant reliving of something. And I can't see your kids really wanting to. I don't see any kids just wanting to do that
Okay.
unless it was a book they really really loved, in which case they probably wouldn't have given it away.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I'm not saying that was a bad idea. That's not a bad idea of like that in like a small town.
Right.
That would be an excellent idea.
Okay.
In Brooklyn, it may no telling where it could end up. But in a small town, it's kind of like when I was in elementary school, we used to release these balloons, the helium balloons that had the school, that had like a postcard attached to it that had like the school address and then the name of the student who released the balloon,
Okay.
which in hindsight actually is insane. But we the thing was we'd let them out and then, you could mail back the postcard and we'd see which balloon went the furthest.
Oh, that's cute.
Right? That's adorable. Like something for the third grader, something like that. I think that's what grade I was in, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, yes, no, thinking back on it, that is problematic. But yeah, like it's like that kind of thing that would work in like a small, it's just like this one made it all the way to Dunwoody or something like that because we were in Decatur. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever. But yeah, in a smaller town, that probably would be like a cute idea.
Yeah, like I'm starting to realize more and more that like I'm like Brooklyn soul. Like I'm Brooklyn energy, but like I'm small town soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like in my heart, the things that like bring me joy are like little town shit. You know, like
Okay.
I enjoy like stupid convos in elevators with people I've never met before. You
All
know,
right.
but
Okay.
like I know I'm supposed to ice grill them. You know, like if they
Yeah.
break the ice, I love that conversation. I talk about it for years.
Mhm.
You know, but I
Do
know I'm
you
not
em-
supposed to start it.
do you embarrass your kids by talking to people?
Of course, all the time.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Do you do it on
Yeah.
purpose?
No, I think
Oh.
it's just the thing. Like I don't know, like my kids definitely like remark that like everybody talks to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how do you know all these people? And I'm like, oh, I just met them in front of you. And they're like, so why are you talking to them that long? I'm like, because that's what happens. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I got my son a little revved up this morning.
How so?
So like okay. So this is the last week of school. And
Okay.
English the English class gave him a book to read and said, hey, write a summary for it for tomorrow.
Mhm.
If everyone does the summary, that's the last homework for the year.
Mm.
If anyone in the class doesn't do the summary, everyone has to do an essay as the last homework of the year the next day.
Mhm.
And my son said that's unfair. He said because more than likely not everyone's going to do it, and I end up doing homework twice.
Mhm.
And the only people being punished are the people that would do the homework. Period.
Mhm.
He said, whereas if I'm lazy, I'm only going to have to do the second homework instead of having to do both homeworks. He said, if anything, I shouldn't do the first homework because half the classes are going to do the first homework, and then I only got to do the essay. Whereas I'm going to do the summary, someone's not going to do the summary, and then I got to do the summary and the essay. He said, I'm going to do
Mm.
the summary because I'm your kid and I know I'm supposed to, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, I can't front. That's a valid argument. So I was like, are you
Mhm.
comfortable presenting that to the teacher? He's like, Dad, it's the last week. I really don't care. I'm going to just do both. And I'm like, that's not
Mhm.
what I'm asking. I'm saying, he's like, do you feel that it's unfair? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so are you comfortable presenting that argument to the teacher? You should 100% express that. Tell the teacher this is an unfair assignment, and this is why. The people being punished are the people that do their work normally. And he said, Dad, like it's the last week of school. And I said, Aiden, I understand, but it's important that when you feel wronged, you are able to voice that.
Mhm.
So he's like, all right, cool. And like we practiced the argument, you know what I mean? And I sent that kid off this morning with that shit.
Oh boy. And
Um,
so now we're just waiting to hear back, huh?
I'm expecting a phone call. His class is at 11:30, you know. But I revved him up. I said, yo, don't come back without an update. I want to know what happened. I want to know how you handled that conversation. I gave him options too. I said you could raise your hand
Mhm.
if someone messes up and she says it. I says if you feel that that's too confrontational, pull her aside after. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To treat it like you're doing some coaching. You
Okay.
know,
All
maybe you
right.
don't want
So
to like call her out. You know,
the
so it's like a one on
teacher
one.
the teacher basically assigned them a trust fall.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so this isn't about the book. This is a lesson about trust, right? And
Yeah.
community and working together and seeing how you deal with that when that's not the case, right?
Okay.
Kinda. That's just how it sounds to me that is the lesson,
Okay. I can see
right?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just moving forward. So yeah, I guess he's right to bring that up. Since that will be a concern, and he certainly isn't the only person who would probably feel that way. But speaking as a lazy child who did like no homework, I'd probably do the summary because that's going to be faster than the essay.
That's my logic. Like, because
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, the summary is like, oh, I don't have to do any more. Yeah, I'll do this one. It's not that. It's not necessarily that I didn't do any of it. I just didn't want to do the shit that seemed ridiculous. But this one leads to there's a consequence from this one. All right, let me go on and do this then.
and he's with that, but he knows that someone's going to drop the ball, and now they all got to do the essay, and
Mm-hmm.
only the half of them had to do the summary and the essay. So he's like, yeah, I shouldn't even waste my time on the summary if somebody's going to not do the summary, and then I'm going to have to do the essay.
Yeah, but then what happens when he's the one that didn't do the summary?
I presented this argument to.
what happens? So that's where faith comes in. Like, all right, what do you? I move forward and then just go, well, I shouldn't even. You have to like have faith that these things, which is wild. Honestly, that teacher needed to assign me a few things. I could use a few faith lessons right now. But yeah, that's interesting. Giving them, a faith project at the end of the school year. But I mean, that's something that'll probably stick with them all summer, really.
Hell
All
yeah.
their life, maybe, if played correctly.
Yo, it was
That's
heavy.
why I don't teach. I would have never thought of that. I would have said, everybody on your phone. Here's an extra phone. Just shut up. I'm tired.
Oh, man. Let's get into the news, Sha.
Let's do that.
The Supreme Court got it right in the main voucher case, apparently. The 6-3 decision in Carson v. Versus Markin is an important victory for the constitutional principle that government may not discriminate on the basis of religion. That's right. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court struck down a Maine law that excluded most religious private schools from a voucher program that is in place in similar secular schools. The 6-3 decision in Carson versus Macon is an important victory. Blah, blah, I just said that. It may also help open up valuable opportunities for parents and students, particularly the disadvantaged. In 2020, the Supreme Court ruled in Espinoza versus Montana Department of Revenue that a state-run voucher program may not exclude religious schools simply because of their status as religious institutions. As Chief Justice John Roberts reiterated in his opinion for the court on Tuesday, a state may not withhold otherwise available public benefits from religious organizations simply because they are religious. Bang. Until now, the state of Maine has subsidized the cost of private school, providing the equivalent of a secular public school curriculum for the roughly 5,000 children who live in districts too sparsely populated to support their own public school. However, Maine refuses to subsidize attendance at private schools with a religious curriculum in these areas, even if they have otherwise met all the applicable state laws.
I mean, all right.
Oh, man. Give them their money, son.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You ain't a fan of this?
I mean, no, it's fine. It's fine, I guess, ultimately. Yeah, sure. Give them whatever. It's for the kids. I feel a little weirded out by, religiously run schools, I guess.
Yeah.
But I know that it's important for a lot of people who have some sort of faith, which I don't necessarily.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, okay, great. Everyone should, I guess, be, I don't know, in a utopian world. I don't know. I just, anytime you're like, I mean, I guess I don't have much of an opinion because I'm just like, this has nothing to do with me, which is a terrible way to be. But yeah, sure. Okay. Great. I'm
pulling the idea. I've thought of this. So like, because like as a parent, I feel like every kid should have a good education. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like the spiritual needs of a family and a parent shouldn't affect that education. So like, if you believe in something and you want to send them to a school that emphasizes that, as well as the curriculum, they should still have funds to do what they need to do for the curriculum.
Right.
You know what I mean? Also, like, I'm sending my kids to public school, but I would imagine I have the privilege of picking that most people don't as a New Yorker. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like towns where like, like I live here and like there's like 80 other kids. So like the only good school is this Protestant school. I don't believe in that, but that's the best local school. So I want my kid to go there and I want them to get the 3Gs that the government allocates.
Okay, so are you also paying for this Protestant school?
I would, but I could see that like there's times where like the money allocated to the school would
Mhm.
still benefit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like even if I'm paying, I still want that money going to the school or at least a portion of it. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? Like if my kid goes to a private school that I feel is better than the local public school, I would want the funds split. I would want
Mm.
funds going to the local public school because I want public schools to do well and be available for local kids who can't afford the private school. But if my kid is at a particular school, I want that school to also get benefits. It would also depend on if the public funds allocated per student at a public school is higher than the tuition. That's the other make or break point for me. Like if
Mhm.
each kid gets like 10,000 allocated, tuition at this school is 8. I want like 2G sent to my school and 8G sent to the public school locally. And like, hey, here's
Right.
an extra 8 for a kid you're not getting that you could like spread out over the kids that are there, and the school that I chose to send my kid to still gets the roughly same amount per dollar that each kid gets.
Yeah, this is how I definitely know I was not built to be a parent. I would be terrible at these decisions. Maybe it's something that kicks in once I become pregnant or once I give birth, but since those days are definitely behind me, I am very much a, well, we're not just sending them to the school that's in our district, like the one we're zoned to. Like I'm always overwhelmed when people start talking about school shit
Yo,
because I'm just like, why aren't you just send them to that thing? It's right there, and
nah,
it's like
shy.
it's a terrible school, and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know what you want me to do about that, but that's where I feel like,
Yo, because the thing is, like, it becomes like a weird reflection of you. You know what I mean?
ah,
When like I looked up the local junior high schools and like I don't nobody reps East New York more than me. Like that
yes,
is my
right,
shit. I love
hmm
it to the core. I hope as a community we continue to progress. But like when you look up the local junior highs around here in terms of like the school ratings and how they're judged in various different metrics in comparison to other public schools in New York, they don't compare well.
hmm
And there's a ton of reasons for that, but one of them has to be resources.
oh yeah,
You
sure,
know, so like when I see that, there was a situation where like my kid, where like the principal told me like, hey, we're trying to like do some improvements for the school, and like the East New Yorker in me was like, that's fire. The parent in me is like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I need my kid to do well now. I don't care
hmm
about your vision for 15 years from now. My kid is here today. You know what I mean? So,
right,
like,
right,
as a local, hey, I'll pay extra taxes if they go to my
hmm
school because I want them to have a better school long term. But my kid is here today. So, like, there's times when, like, I'll make a decision that so far I haven't had to, but like I constantly think about like uh should I send my kid to a school further away,
right,
or to like a private school or whatever that
hmm
isn't what I would have preferred, isn't convenient, and doesn't align with my aesthetic or my or any of the other things that I like represent because it's the best for them right this moment when they're living it, you know what I mean?
right,
Yeah, I don't know, it's weird, and then like I'll hear from other parents that like a local and like, oh yeah, like I take my kid to the school in Forest Hills, we wake up half hour early, and like that
hmm
doesn't sound fun. But then like,
right,
they'll tell me about like how all the kids in a school got iPads or some crazy shit,
right.
and I'm like, damn, okay. Like my son got waffles in a plastic bag every morning for breakfast. Like like the funds don't seem fairly split,
Right, right,
you
right.
know? So yeah, I
Okay.
get it. It's weird. I
All
don't know. I
right.
don't know if there's
Yeah.
a
No,
right
no,
answer.
no. I know that. I mean, that all absolutely makes sense to me. My lizard brain doesn't consider those things because I don't have to. So when I saw this, I was just like, I mean, all right, I guess. Like I don't 100% understand what this means, but I mean, outside of knowing it basically what it means, I don't know what it means when broken down to its like granular form, like
Right.
what it means to people. So this, what you've just said, is a huge help. I don't envy parents at all having to make these kinds of calls, or the parents who are unable to make these kinds of calls because they don't even have those options available to them.
Right, right.
I don't envy any of y'all. So, yikes.
Good luck to y'all out there in Maine. Also, just in general, I always assume this situation is different from ours because, like, when you take a picture of like a school in Maine, like Maine is like wildly spread out versus like New York City. So, like,
Hmm.
they'll have pictures of the school and like they'll show the whole school, the acres that the school is on, and there won't be
Hmm.
anybody in the picture. Like that's not possible in New York ever. I've never seen like a picture of the local high school where there's no like people walking through the building or the yard or the like that stuff is wild to me. So yeah, I
Look,
understand there's less schools out there.
it who was telling me? PD Diabru,
Yeah.
comic that we know, he was explaining to me how the high schools are set up, how the gyms are set up in his high school that he went to in the Bronx, where the track is above the basketball court. Like it's a tall thing, and it's all in the same room, but the track is inside, and you run around, but it's elevated over the basketball court. And I was just like, "Yo, we don't have to do this." Like I know, we're all on these two little islands. Like we don't have to do this. There's all this space out west. Oh my god, you can still have this attitude out west. And I don't even mean like Midwest. Like we don't just Pennsylvania shit. Like we don't have to do this. This is insane.
Oh man, New York is special. I love it.
Yeah, special. It's special.
Elon Musk's child tells the court she no longer wants to be related to her dad. That's
Wait, this
right.
is the little baby? No, this isn't the little baby. He had kids before, didn't he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be impressive though.
That's what I thought. I was like, damn, the one they named like an android is like, I'm out.
I'm out,
I
baby.
don't want this. Okay.
They went too far too early. Okay. One of Elon Musk's children has petitioned the California court to recognize her new name and gender, saying she no longer wishes to be related to her famous father and in any way, shape, or form. Musk's daughter turned 18 earlier this year and made the filing with a court in Los Angeles soon thereafter. She requested her legal name be changed to Vivian Jenna Wilson. Wilson is the last name of her mother, Justine Wilson, Musk's ex-wife, and mother of 5 of his 7 children. Yo, he got 7 kids?
7 kids?
Yo!
Whoa!
That should be the whole article. He got 7 kids?
You talking all this yang and you got 7 kids, Elon?
Yo!
Bruh. Okay, so you don't have any impulse control. I see now. Okay.
Yo. Your pull-out game is trash, my G.
I don't know. We'll see if we can pull out of this deal with Twitter.
Oh my god. Yo. Wow. Okay. How you get divorced after 5 kids?
I mean, it can be done.
5 kids?
Yeah, it can be done.
5?
I'm sure. Yeah. So wait a minute. So he only had one with that singer Grimes? Hold on, I gotta look this up.
That I would hope not. That means there's 3 baby mamas?
I mean, maybe.
You got 5
Let
kids?
me see. Grimes' children.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in March she gave birth to a new baby daughter.
Exclusive.
Okay. So there's one. I thought they broke up, but I guess not. A secret new baby. Oh my god. Okay, I can't.
7 babies, yo. 7
Yeah.
kids?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, is the world's richest person with an estimated net worth of $214 billion. He's been criticized for his statements on Twitter regarding gender identity issues. For example, in December 2020, he posted a tweet since deleted that said, when you put he, him in your bio alongside a drawing of an 18th century soldier rubbing blood on his face in front of a pile of dead bodies and wearing a cap that read, I love to oppress.
I bet he couldn't explain that meme if he needed to.
Yeah.
Because, he look, I saw something online where someone was just like, on Twitter, someone's like, it might have been Mike Drucker, I'm not sure, but it was just saying like, it's wild that Elon Musk has everybody just doing all this stuff, and all he really wants to be is funny. And he's not funny, and he just wants people to laugh at his dumbass jokes. And so I think he was talking to maybe some of his employees or maybe not, but about possibly stealing someone's memes and then just saying that they're his and that they stole them from him and all that kind of stuff. And that, the people working under him were just like, ha ha ha, you're funny, boss, because they have to be, because they got bills to pay. But like, that's wild that you got so much going on, my man. You got some woman. Was that ever settled with the flight attendant who's just like, he wanted me to do more or whatever, like giving him a massage?
Yeah, my
like,
man.
Yeah, he's got that going on. He's trying to wiggle his way out of this Twitter deal while still trying to be the man. He's still shooting folks into the parking lot of space. He's got a lot going on, and he's worrying about stealing memes and seeming funny. Like, bruh. That's so wild. So I'm sure he posted something that he couldn't explain as to why it was funny, but it seemed provocative, and so he probably posted it. That's not an excuse at all. He's still, I think, possibly a terrible person.
Yeah,
he said after the criticism of that tweet, he wrote on Twitter, I absolutely support trans, but all these pronouns are an aesthetic nightmare. Boy, if you don't get all the fuck out of here, stop. Just stop.
Terrible.
An aesthetic nightmare. What are you worried about aesthetics?
Seriously.
You see your hair plugs? Come on.
Pronouns are such a problem when I'm programming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to design things right now, okay? Jesus.
All right. Well, I support his daughter. I good for her. Like, I don't know that man. Sorry to that man, but I don't know him.
And I'm pro the name Vivian Jenna Wilson. I think just aesthetically is a better name.
Yeah, better than whatever the combination of letters and symbols for Grimes children. Yeah. Oh, wow. I wonder if she's worried about getting any of his money, or if she's just like, he's trash. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I've been hiding my allowance for 15 years or something. I knew he was trash when I met him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you worth $214 billion,
mm-hmm.
when you get mad at a kid, the money you leave them that you think is offensive is still a lot of money.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's gotta be zero to hurt some feelings.
Seriously, like, you be like, yo, fuck that kid. I'm only gonna give him 10 mil.
Right.
Like pennies. Yeah. And that's still stupid money.
Yeah, you don't know how money works anymore. When you get that much money, you have no idea how money works. So if you're just like, here's a pittance
what could have been $5
billion, and they're like, oh God, how will I make it?
Oh man, freaking dude, I can't. Elon.
Oh, what a dork!
Yo, what a bum!
What a bum! What a bum!
$214 million, and I look down on that man. I don't know.
I know, isn't that wild? Money can't buy your class, baby. Money can't buy your class. That sounds like a grandma thing to say.
Oh man! In other news, Spider-Man defeated in tragic Disneyland accident. The animatronic superhero froze while swinging above the Avengers campus and fell to his doom. Spider-Man has been defeated. Having battled evil for decades, the well-known superhero was struck down not by any of his many powerful enemies, but while performing a simple stunt meant to entertain those who had come to see him in all his animatronic splendor at Disneyland, California, on the Avengers campus late last week. Uh, the,
Okay.
you saw the footage of this?
No, but I just want to make sure I understand. This is an animatronic Spider-Man.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, like Toby still.
And I'm not. Yeah, that I'm not like looking up Tobey Maguire or whichever the Spider-Man was of whichever one of your youth. I don't know. I don't know the various Spider-Mans.
In a moment that must be watched repeatedly if we are ever to truly understand its gravity, we hear the animatronic Spider-Man announce, "Here goes something," before he goes swinging into view above Disneyland's Avengers campus. Spider-Man's limbs lock up at the top of his arc through the sky, rendering him unable to safely descend. Heroic music swells in the background as he yells out, "Airbags, please," in vain. A moment later, the web crawler smashes back first into the side of a building, crashing against the wall and disappearing from sight. The crowd gasps, and then a robotic voice announces that the facility Spider-Man has just rocketed into is not equipped with airbags, and we hear the simple, pitiful last words of the hero as his life ebbs away. Okay. Bomb.
Hold on. Look, this is written with a lot of flair, and I just need business right now.
Yeah.
Someone here is auditioning to write, the autobiography of Spider-Man or whatever. But so let me get this straight. This animatronic, right? So
Yeah.
a robotic version, like a Hall of Presidents version of Spider-Man, was going to do a trick. The arms locked up. It couldn't land. And it yelled out, "Airbags, please," which is probably part of the joke.
Right.
But it actually needed help because it then crashed.
Yeah, you nailed it. It was supposed to have a rough landing from what I'm hearing, but not a actual crash into the building. And the only reason people were able to tell, A, because they'd seen it previously, and B, because the Spider-Man was missing from other portions of the show afterward that they had to like readjust.
I mean, they don't have extra Spider-Man.
You don't got no spare animatronics. Come on,
yeah.
Disney.
So this animatronic thing is just supposed to swing around and then come back down for the closing dancing number?
They don't got no animatronic unions, okay? Why he doing double duty?
Wow. That's wild. Okay, so then it broke during a part where it's supposed to look like it's not doing well anyway.
Right. Nailed it.
Showmanship. Oh, wow.
Commitment.
Yo, let's hear it for this little robot. This robot's getting sentient. I mean, like, it knew when to throw. Like, that's amazing, actually. That's, wow. What is truth? Like, that's fantastic. Now that I understand when and where and how, that's wild.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to look at the clip, you'll see that for those of you at home, if you get a chance to check it out, you'll see that the initial half of the swing looks human because they're using these in movies as well. And then there's a point where it stops moving like a human and it just becomes a board. Like it's just one long stick flipping in the air. And you can tell at that point that, this isn't working out. And then you become excited again that you realize it's not a person inside because otherwise you just saw a death.
Right. So, yeah. You gotta, that is what I'm thinking. Like the poor kids, if there are kids who don't realize that's a robot, they just heard an adult man probably, or at least a teenager, yell for airbags. and then a recording like, oh, there are no airbags, and then the thing go, okay, and then he doesn't show up for the rest of the show. That's gonna, if you don't realize they're robots, that's gonna fuck with you. That's gonna
Oh
fuck with
man,
you.
shout to Disneyland, crushing dreams. I'm a fan.
Well, yes, for many years. Oh boy.
In other news, Starbucks may close its bathrooms to the public again. That's right. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz says his company might not be able to keep its bathrooms open to the general public. The coffee company opened its bathrooms to the public in 2018 after two black men were denied use of the bathroom in a Philadelphia Starbucks while they were waiting for a friend to arrive. When they then sat down in the store without ordering anything, a Starbucks employee called the police and they were arrested for trespassing. No charges were ever filed. The incident sparked protests and negative publicity. The company apologized, closed all of its stores for a day to hold racial bias training for employees. But Schultz said at a New York Times Deal Book conference in D.C. That the company may have to change its policy once again. He said that a growing mental health problem was posing a threat to staff and customers and making it difficult for Starbucks employees to manage its stores with the current policy in place. We have to harden our stores and provide safety for our people. I don't know if we can keep our bathrooms open. Schultz said in 2018 when he was the company's executive chairman that opening bathrooms to anyone who asked was the right decision because of the implicit bias that occurred when they were denied access to the bathrooms. We don't want anyone at Starbucks to feel as if we are not giving access to you in the bathroom because you were less than. We want you to be more than, Schultz said at one time. Schultz recently returned to run the retailer as the interim CEO, and he has been contending with growing angst amongst employees. The company is facing a union organizing drive amongst its store employees, although the union has won votes at only a small fraction of the company's 9,000 stores. It has been achieving overwhelming success in the votes held so far.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the unions really have more to do with the closing of the bathrooms than the growing mental health issue. First off, wait. So when they say the bathrooms are open, do you still need a code to get in? Or like you could just walk in and go?
I think anywhere but New York City, you should be able to walk in
And go.
and go.
But in
Yeah.
New York, they have like the code kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Like they let anyone in, but they got to go ask for the code.
Right. Okay. So then now he's saying that they won't be open at all, or you have to buy something. Is it back to that?
Yeah, I would assume that
Probably.
like now they can say no again. Like now it's gonna be code, and you could be like, nah, you can't get the bathroom, B.
Okay. Well, that yeah, that definitely. I mean, what's really wild, at least from a New York standpoint, is that um even still asking for a code is that we don't have any clean public bathrooms like other metropolitan cities do. Um and I understand it wouldn't work, and the reason it wouldn't work is because New York is filthy. It's dirty, dirty, dirty.
New York, baby.
We're not like Japan. We're not like Tokyo, where they make you take your trash. They don't have no trash cans anywhere, and they make you take your trash. Or you have to throw it away before you leave a building or anything like that. And you like the streets are very clean. And I've seen some train stations try that where they took away the trash cans and they're like, this is to encourage you to take your trash with you. And instead we just had a bunch of track fires because people were throwing shit on the track. So
New York,
so
baby.
this is yeah. What a thing to be proud of. But but yeah, old dude is struggling because unions are popping up. These
Mhm.
unions. And it's a slow pop up, but it's happening. And they're doing a few things to so this is like, now we'll make the public suffer. And we won't let them be able to use our bathroom all because you guys want rights and fair wages and shit. Now they don't get to have their coffee shits anywhere, which is an issue. I'm sure it's an issue. But yeah, I read about how there was one store that voted to start a union or something like that, and then they took away their mats, their rubber mats behind the counter. Do you know what I
What?
mean? You know how they have those mats so when you're on your feet, it's to like kind of relieve the stress and it's to also stop from slipping and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took all those away.
What?
Management took those away from that location
Why?
because they wanted a union. They probably said it was what, a safety thing or something, which is wild because it's actually supposed to stop people from slip. It's made it worse. But yeah, they took away mats. So like so they're just being sneaky squirrel and it's very upsetting. Um I guess Starbucks employees don't give up the fight, keep fighting for these unions and people who are denied um the bathroom, just keep shitting on their floor and make sure you do it in view of a camera so that we have stuff to talk about. And let that be an epidemic so bad that they're like, we need to open up these bathrooms again. We got all kinds of folks shitting on our floor and they're not mentally ill. They're just shitting on our floor because they've been drinking coffee for 3 hours.
They keep forgetting the code from the bathroom to the code entry. Okay.
Right. Like, yeah. Oh boy. Unless they're doing like a whole here's the key thing. That's also
weird. As gross to me.
I hate that. That thing's covered in germs.
Yeah. Especially
More
when
than
they
the
when
toilet.
they people start losing the key, so they add the big
Yeah, all the
board.
stuff like there's a 4x4 tied to a key.
Like I gotta hold this like jaded piece of wood
Yeah.
in the bathroom. Nah, B.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And normally I root for Howard, just because he's from Eastern
Do
New York
you?
too. Yeah, he's from Eastern New York.
No, that's not enough.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
At some point, you got to look at the content of their character,
yeah.
man, not just where they're from.
Trust me,
Didn't Martin say something about that? I feel like
so much of his story I was hyped about, but I was like, yeah, man, you be making some funny calls, my G. You forgot.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He grew up in the
yeah.
PJs too. But yeah,
So
man. I
what?
gotta let you go, my man.
Yeah,
That's it. And I gotta
that's
rap Tony
that's
Danza's
terrible.
our white local now.
Wait, is he from East New York?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I'm learning so much
We
about
got
your.
some people out here, yo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, you definitely should play up the Tony Danza part. This guy, I can't believe you latched on to this guy. Tony Danza is where it's at.
Yeah, but this was the come up story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, but at what cost?
Yeah,
You know what I
it's ugly
mean?
now.
Yeah.
Shouts to Tony Danza. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Martin Sheen regrets changing his name, yeah. While Martin
Oh,
Sheen
that's a shame. No, I feel that.
While Martin Sheen says his name is still legally Ramon Estevez, he regrets changing it for his career. The West Wing star talked to Closer Weekly about adopting his stage name. It's one of my regrets. I never changed my name officially. It's still Ramon Estevez on my birth certificate. His legal name, wouldn't it always be on your birth certificate, by the way? His legal name is also on his marriage license, passport, and driver's license, he added. Sometimes you get persuaded when you don't have enough insight or even enough courage to stand up for what you believe in, and you pay for it later. But of course, I'm only speaking for myself. His two sons, who are actors, split the difference when it came to the family name, Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. The older Sheen Estevez told the publication he wasn't even aware at the time that his sons had interest in his industry, as he was too busy focusing on his own career to try to provide for his own family. The only influence I had on Emilio was to keep his name. When he started out, his agent was advising him to change his name to Sheen, and he wouldn't do it, and I thank God he did it.
Wow. There was a third son
Yeah.
who did a little bit of acting, and his name was he went by Ramon Sheen. And
You
I was
can't
like,
do
bruh,
that.
I don't. Yeah, come on. You're what? Look, or what are we doing? Are we? But I mean, I get it. I get it.
Can't be half in,
I
half out.
Yeah. I remember. Okay, because I was a fan of Emilio when I was growing up.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, I like Emilio Estevez. And my dad would say it's Emilio Estevez. And I went, whatever. And I was like, apparently his dad is Martin Sheen. And my dad's like, what? And I'm like, his dad is Martin Sheen. And he's like, well, then who is Martin Sheen then? And I'm like, I don't know. But I also was confused. I was like, well, maybe that's like his mom is a Estevez. I don't understand it, but they say that that's his dad.
Yeah.
So then to see that he changed his name, but I mean, so many people were. I get why. So many people were told to change their names,
And that
you know?
happens.
So like I get why, and I know it's in hindsight you want to stand strong, but you also are like a kid and you just want to act. And if they're like, yeah, you need to whiten that up. Back then you just whitened it up, But yeah, he's still. I mean, yeah, he gave us Charlie Sheen, but he also gave us Emilio Estevez.
Yeah,
So
man, you gotta split the difference.
it's good. It's good. Yeah, thank you for Emilio. You
Straight
can
up.
you can take Charlie back, but
When I
thank you
read
for
this,
Emilio.
when I
Mhm.
read this shot, like my first thought was, "Oh shit, Martin Sheen is dying." Like this,
Oh,
this sound like last regrets to me. Like
oh yeah.
like
No,
I should have kept my name. I don't know what I did wrong. I didn't give you anything, Emilio. I'm sorry. Like this felt real. Like he on his deathbed shit.
no, I didn't get that. I only because he's one of those people who just seems to keep on working,
Okay.
right? I feel like if he dies, it's going to be like on a set somewhere. Like he just seems to constantly be working.
Okay.
Um, but it's probably just a looking back. I think right now the vibe of American pop culture is such that we are, especially younger generations are very like, this is who I am, this is how I am, this is where I come from, this is how I identify, this is like people are making a stand in their various truths.
Mm.
And I think there were so many generations where people were not doing that, be it in the public or private eye. And I feel like now that it feels like the audience, because the people listening are the younger people who have this mindset, now that it feels like the audience is willing to accept that kind of thing without you having to die or be on your deathbed to tell us, um, that people feel comfortable coming out and saying these kinds of things,
Mm.
No, who knows? Cut to next week and Martin Sheen is on his deathbed. Who knows? But um it feels like I feel like there are a lot of people who are kind of getting some stuff off their chest,
Okay.
Because they feel like there's an audience who is accepting that right now.
Mm.
I mean, he already, when Emilio came out and was just like, my dad's Martin Sheen, I feel like the jig is up then,
Right.
So we knew already. So people were like, oh, okay, well, what's your name then? And, he's like, and you're like, all
You
right,
must know.
yeah. And then we're just like, well, okay, I guess I see why you changed it. But to, so it's not that we didn't understand. We're just like, oh, I get it. That's like what Gen X was like. Sure, I see why you did that.
No, that's
But
fair.
Gen Z is like, this is how we are, and older people, boomers, because that's Martin Sheen's definitely a boomer. Is just like, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't done it. Like now is the time to like think deeper about it and just be like, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't done that, as opposed to just like, yeah, I guess this is my real name, everybody. And it's like, oh, okay.
Okay. Look at that.
All right. Yeah. So, the younger people are kind of forcing the hand of progress, which is usually how that goes. And I kind of can't wait for them to get old and have it happen to them. Ha ha ha. Anyway, um,
I do love the idea of like 20-year-old Martin Sheen trying to like book like auditions and him being like, "Hi, I'm like Ramon Estevez. No, I promise you, I'm
mhm.
white. Um,
Well, I mean,
just wait till you
he's
see me."
but he's not until he gets. I mean, he's white passing,
Well, it
right?
depends though. He's Europe. He's Spaniard. So like,
Oh, yeah. So
I
he's
would still
white.
argue,
Okay.
yeah,
So yeah,
he's
he's
white.
white.
He's just Europe. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So like, it wasn't like this is like a Dominican dude that's like white passing. So like he's still that in terms of how
Yeah.
people see him.
Yeah. So he's still white. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But
Yeah. No.
yeah,
No one's trying to hear that with a last name Estevez. No, you're right.
yeah. So I just think it's a fun argument, and now he's flipping it. It's cool. You know, I'm glad. I'm glad he's found himself at like 80.
I mean, that's sometimes it takes you that long to look.
Yeah, I ain't mad. Like
You know what I
sincerely,
mean? Yeah.
that's beautiful. Like because he's. I like the idea of this because it's like you can still evolve as a person. Like
Yeah.
you could be born in like 1940, 1930 and still like, nah, I'm gonna be a better dude tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would prefer that you keep evolving until you're dead, and then maybe evolve a little bit more. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I would want. That's what I would want, to
Hell
not be
yeah.
stagnant. Even though I also don't like change, I'm a fixed sign, but I know that you have to evolve, and so I begrudgingly do it, and then I'm happy that I did.
Shouts to Martin
So
Sheen.
shout out to Martin Sheen.
Fun fact, by the way, his name comes from CBS casting director Robert Dale Martin, who gave him his first big break, and Catholic televangelist Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen.
That's how they came up with Martin Sheen?
That's how he got the name. He just
Huh.
made it up from two people.
Oh, yeah, that's the way to do it.
Bang.
Huh.
There you
All
go.
right.
So yeah, whoever gives you your first break shot, them and your favorite televangelist
Yeah, that's not gonna
Archbishop.
work. I've already had. I don't have one. I've already, and also I am too old. Like, I came in the game just like, nah, y'all gonna. My mother instilled in me such a no nicknames. They gonna learn your whole name situation.
Oh
That
yeah.
I don't even like. Like, people are like, "Do you have a nickname?" And I'm like, "Nope." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, nah, just it's 3 syllables. You got this." The E sounds like an A, if that helps you out, but it does not. It never does. And I remember getting ready to do a show, and the host was just like, "All right, so what's your name again?" I'm like, "It's Shalewa Sharpe," and he's like, "What?" I said, "Shalewa," and he's like, "Shalewa," and I said, "Yes," and he's like, "What is that? Your stage name?" And I'm like, "Why would I?" If we're not in Nigeria, why would I pick that as a stage name? I'm like, "No, that's my name." And he's like, "Oh, you need a stage name." And I'm like, "Well," because it was one of these shows where everybody was either just one name, just like Tootie, or they were like something to something, you know?
Oh my god.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to be Vlad the Impaler or whatever it is you think I should be." So, yeah, just work your mouth around Shalewa. You'll get it. If it makes, don't even say the sharp part. I know that's a lot. Shalewa can be a lot for mouths right away. So just say Shalewa.
I will say though, if you did add a the part, you could still keep your last name. You could be
Yeah,
like
Shalewa the
Shalewa
sharp.
the Sharp. I think that's kind
I
of
know.
dope, yo. Yo, like that could be your rap name. Shalewa
Oh,
the Sharp.
wow.
Yo, I fuck with that. Yo, I want a mixtape, shot.
Oh, do you?
Hell yeah.
Well, people in hell want ice water. So we'll see what happens.
Oh man! Another news: Marvel's Miles Morales "What If" comic ignites backlash for featuring racist stereotypes. In the latest issue of Miles Morales' What If story, the character gets store powers, but not the same godly respect. Miles Morales has been one of Marvel's most popular characters since entering the Marvel Universe in August of 2011. The Afro Latinx Spider-Man from Marvel's Ultimate Universe is an inspiration of millions. As Marvel plans a big rollout to celebrate Spidey's 60th anniversary, one of its more interesting concepts has been a series of Miles Morales What If stories featuring the character as other heroes. Unfortunately, the book starring Miles' story has been the subject of criticism for including racist stereotypes. According to Screen Rant, What If Miles Morales became Thor, #4, written by Yehudi Mercado and illustrated by Luigi Zagaria, shows Miles living on a version of Asgard that looks more like Brooklyn than the paradise we normally see. There's graffiti on the buildings, shoes hanging from telephone lines, and cars pulled by goats. So Black Thor isn't allowed to live in a gold-covered, gorgeously perfect Asgard. As if that wasn't enough, Miles' dialogue is full of stereotypes throughout that don't sound like the character. His hammer, Mjolnir, pardon the pronunciation there, is also covered in graffiti, and when he uses it, he yells "Hammer time."
Okay, that's where I got to stop you. Now I don't. I think it's been determined. I think it's established that I really know nothing about Marvel anything. This is Marvel, right?
Yeah.
I don't. I think. Okay, so already. And so I saw some chatter about this on Twitter. And so I'm going in blind. I know that there's a What If series, but I didn't know what the various what ifs were about.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Miles, all right, he is Thor. And I'm looking at this. I don't know what Asgard is, or where it is, or what the whole thing is. If it would matter if if Miles was in that space, and maybe someone can very lightly explain it to me why it would be better if he was in that kind of environment rather than the Brooklyn environment that he was in. But I thought it was supposed to be like them in their normal environment, but as Thor is what I thought it was kind of how it was supposed to go. Not you take them and you put them in Thor's neighborhood, but let me know if that's wrong. If the other people got to stay in Thor's neighborhood, like an Airbnb kind of situation.
Yeah, so like Thor is a god from Asgard. So and he's the kind of like the son of the king of Asgard and eventually becomes like the ruler of it, but it's all like godlike people. But it has nothing to do with Earth. So the argument against it is like it wouldn't be the way that people view black kid from Brooklyn, because he wouldn't have grown up there. He would have grown up in Asgard. So why is it that Asgard changes when the only thing that's changed is that we're talking about a black guy from Asgard, not a black guy from Brooklyn who becomes powerful?
Okay, gotcha. All right, so then yes, that is a problem. So I don't know about that kind of part, but what I thought, I only saw a couple of pictures.
Okay.
And his hammer, again, not knowing anything really, but I know that Thor has a hammer. His hammer being covered with graffiti, I just went, come on. Let's stop. Let's stop the madness. Why? Just in general, who's doing that? Let's stop it. Unless, is that a thing that Miles did? Did he do art? That was his uncle, right?
His uncle did. He was starting to learn, but yeah, that I agree with you. I thought it was a little weird.
That's pushing it a little bit. And then the hammer time is not even of this.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That was trash.
That's trash. No one even said, only MC Hammer said hammer time. And lame people who no one, that was not a thing. Yeah. That's not a true thing. When I feel like I've never come across anyone who said hammer time and kind of meant it.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone who said hammer time was doing so with their tongue firmly in their cheek, right? So, and yeah, that's issue enough. hammer time. That's the worst. I think the treasure that and the graffiti on the hammer, which could kind of be explained away because of him getting into it with his uncle and whatnot. But hammer time is terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Does anybody else do any of the other versions of Thor, the as if ones? Do they yell something?
they do, but it's
Like,
definitely not hammer time.
what is it? So they have to yell something.
Yeah. What does Thor yell?
Okay.
I don't remember what he yells out when he gets his hammer.
Is it just watch out there now or something? I would have taken a watch out there now from Miles. That would be fine. That would be fine with that. But hammer time is so stupid.
Yeah, hammer time is trash.
Yeah.
I guess like the issue we have with it is that, and this happens a lot, by the way. If I know you're not a Marvel fan, I'm not necessarily the biggest Marvel fan, but I'm a big Miles Morales fan.
Right.
He was like one of the first characters I saw that like repped where I was at fully. And
I watched the movie,
yeah,
and I cried. It was very moving.
Yeah, I love the film. And keep in mind, like, I'm saying this as someone that was already an adult when like Miles started popping off. Like, it wasn't like I grew up with Miles, but it got me excited as a creative.
Yeah, fairly recent, right?
Yeah. The issue that Miles has had is that like and this is and as soon as I saw this, I knew this is what was happening. Every time Miles has an issue, unfortunately, it's been because the creatives behind it weren't black. And this is the case. The 4 episodes of this, the 4 issues of this What If Miles Morales series, the other 3 were written by black writers, and in this particular case, both the writer and the illustrator are not black, and in turn, they're gonna miss some of the nuance of what makes Miles special. It wasn't stereotypes. It wasn't like the things that like I think they misunderstand that like what made Miles special is that it was just a regular kid who happened to be black. Like he allowed that depth and understanding of like you could just be like a nerd, quote unquote. You don't have to be like the super tough thug if you're a black person from Queens or Brooklyn or whatever the case may be. You could just be a regular dude, and that's what he was. He was in a prep school. His parents were both like working parents, like his dad was a cop. Like he was a herb, but he was still black fully. You know what I mean? I think that shit is dope. Yeah, like if you look at like you know what I'm saying? And like I think that's awesome that like you don't have to be like ultra alpha and black. Like that's the only way we were allowed as comic book characters. Like there's white characters. Like I think Peter Parker is a herb, and I think that's dope. Like he's someone that like if you saw him,
the whole point of everyone, not that I know, but the whole point of whoever was Spider-Man was just that they were kind of a beta.
Yeah,
they were a beta, and then
that's what's awesome about the character. And like it was great to see that like you can be that and still be black. Just be like a regular dude. You don't gotta be the most ultra like shit. Like like the dude like the dude that was in the Netflix series. I'm mad I'm blanking on his name right now.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. Like his original name was Power Man. Like it was so like they put no thought into this dude. It was just black dude that like bounces off bullets. Power Man. Like that's all they gave us. You know what I mean? So like it was cool to just see a regular dude, and he's black because he's black. Like that's all it is. Like you don't need to write lines that sound like what you think black people sound like for it to be black dialogue. Write good dialogue. It's black because a black person is saying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like but yeah, they didn't have someone in there to like write that let them know that nuance, and instead they like wrote stereotypes and ruined the dope character. And this has been happening to Miles for like a decade now. But you think they like had fixed it at this point. And they did for 3 whole issues. Yeah, here we go. What are you gonna do? It's heartbreaking because I'm a big Miles fan. I love the idea of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what are we gonna do, man? I'm rooting for you, homie. It's well drawn stereotypes, if that helps. They're really well illustrated stereotypes.
Mhm. Yeah, it's beautiful. Hammer Time is glorious, but
oh my God, what are we gonna do, man? Get it right.
no.
Come on. All right, there's a ton of
Yeah,
there's a ton of like talented black writers that would love to do this. Hit up my boy Udoye. He's already ran for Batman. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Chris Daniels. He's written for a few people. Yeah,
make it happen. We're out there. You know what I mean? Me and Shalewa could write could write these shits. We won't know anything about the characters. We'll get it wrong, but
yeah, we'll get it very wrong.
We'll piss off the comic book people, not the not black people, which I think is better.
Yeah. Think of which group you'd rather piss off.
Finally, Tom Brady calls Pusha T's "It's Almost Dry" the album of the year. That's right.
Stop. Nope. Stop. Shut it down. Shut it down. Who told Tom Brady about Pusha T? Who snitched? Who snitched? Shut it down.
Yo.
This is unacceptable.
Oh man, I hold all y'all in that locker room accountable. One of y'all messed this up, okay?
Who did this? Who did this?
Playing that Pusha T without your headphones on. The nerve, you know?
Oh my God.
This is as soon as I read this, I was like, this is the anti-cosign. Like, if anything is not Pusha T.
Yeah, look, I still love the record. Even if Tom Brady, you can't control, once you release the art out there, you can't control what happens to it. Who vibes with it, who really enjoys it. So
yeah,
Tom Brady likes it. I mean, all right, I guess, but boo.
Oh man!
How did he find it? Was it that guy he has sleeping on his couch who has all the problems? Was it that guy? What's that guy's name? Was it him? Was he playing it in the kitchen one day and Tom was just like bopping on the 1 and the 3 and like, this is nice. What is this? I kid. Look, I kid because you don't want to think about how many lame white folks really love, rap. How many of them are out there? But they're out there. They're the ones buying. They're the ones going to the concerts. I don't know what to tell you. No offense, lame white people. I love you too. You like me, and I appreciate it. I truly do.
Keep tuning into the show. We love y'all. Sincerely,
yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But you're not Tom Brady. None of y'all are Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Oh man! If you would like for Tom Brady to co-sign our podcast and for us to deny it publicly.
Yes.
All you gotta do is subscribe to the show, baby.
Yep.
If you're an Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings sincerely. Thank you. 4 stars. Tom Brady's gonna say the War Report is the best podcast he ever heard, and it's gonna spread like wildfire before me and Shalewa could do anything about it. 5 stars. We find out day of. We put out a press release. Shut that shit down.
I mean, he can still say it, but we don't need his cosign.
Yeah.
4 stars, we need his cosign. 5 stars, we don't. He loves us either way.
Oh man, if you have any articles you'd like us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter or Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. Shouts this week to Brandy Spain and Aaron Anderson. Both of y'all appreciate the articles y'all shared. With all that said, I am the Tom Brady does not need to co-sign me, Gastor Almonte. Always with the Tom Brady consistently bothering her to co-sign. She also doesn't need it. Shalewa Sharpe. Stay out her DMs, Tom.
Yeah. Don't bother yourself. Why always hassling me, Tom?
This has been a War Report. Catch y'all next time. Except for Tom. Peace.